Hey guys, I have a build here that I'd like to show you. It carried me through all my hell modes, Ethrons, Chasers, Promedons, whatever kind of boss you want to fight. Gives me all the relics in the game, most of the relics in the game. But I'm gonna do a little rundown of how it goes, and I'm gonna do a progression video of how you actually fully do it. So for the race, what I usually go to is I go to Vesperian for fortitude and willpower because you're gonna have no agility, no intelligence, and no charisma on this build. Then for your bell, you either want to go with Sacred Fields or Payback. Payback bell did get nerfed, so I would go with Sacred Fields, Corrupted as well, and hopefully get the Sanity variant so you can get Heteric Sutra, and I'll tell you guys about that soon. For your Oath, I would go Dawnwalker as the Blinding Dawn and the blinding the kick would help you with doing damage, getting your HP back if you put Bloodless Gems on it. Your Origin, we would go Deep Bound. I usually go Deep Bound, unless you guys find an easier way to go. And Prophet's Cloak, so you can do extra Mantra Pen and block break them much easier. For your Strength, you would want to go 30 Strength, so you can get your talents, strength talents, make yourself stronger, do more damage. Then from Willpower, you would want to go to 80 Willpower. This so you can get Heteric Sutra. You might need to have a friend to send you down to layer 2, or you can find someone random. But I wouldn't find someone random because there's a lot of gankers out there now. So try to find a friend. From that, you would want to go to 50 Fortitude, so you can get all your Fortitude talents. Then from 80 Willpower, you want to go to 100. And then from 50 Fortitude, you want to shoot straight up to 100 Fortitude. Then you want to put one Heavy, since you're going to be going to Heavy. This right here will help you get all the talents you need. You're going to need to get Brick Wall, you're going to need to get Not a Scratch, and Reinforced Armor. Those are very important for this build, and if you do not have them, please wipe immediately. You also want to go to the overworld and go get one Gale. Only one Gale. And the easiest way to get Gale Stones is you could go to the Legion camp down in Lower Eresia. That would help you get the Gale Stones. So after that, you'd want a Shrine of Order. Boom, you should have 27 Strength, 75 Fortitude, 75 Willpower. You want to lock these. You don't want to upgrade them. Then from Gale Breath, you want to go to from 27 to 80, so you can upgrade all your monsters to level 5. Then from 27 Heavy to 70 Heavy. That will allow you to equip the Heaven Zandax, and you can put the Astral Enchant on it. Allows you to do extra pen, and just do more damage to mobs. So for the talents, you will need Reinforced Armor, which will give you incoming pen. You need Brick Wall. You need Not a Scratch. A World Without Song, if you are going Haunted Spectre Path, which I do. No, if you're not going Haunted Spectre Path. Usually if you're going the Spectre Path, you want to go Possession. Right? And then you need to get Battle Tendency, Brace Collapse, Moving Fortress, and Perseverance in order for you to get Reinforced Armor. For the Brick Wall talent, what I usually do is once I reach to 100 Fortitude and 100 Willpower, you need to use Mystic to get your talents. And after before you Shrine of Order, you want to do the Shrine of Blasphemy. The Shrine of Blasphemy is the second shrine on the left side that will allow you to gain 3 levels plus all the talents that you need and need to get before you Shrine of Order. So once you do that, after you Shrine of Blasphemy, then you want a Shrine of Order. But before you Shrine of Blasphemy, make sure you use Mystic to get every single talent you need. Then you need to get Wyvern's Claw for heavy, just in case you jump upwards with Radiant Kick. You need to get Carnivores, so you can kill mobs, get all your hunger and stuff back. You need to get Grand Support when you get Reinforce, Exoskeleton, Fishman for the extra HP, and if you don't want Fishman, you can always switch it out for something else. To the finish, you take 10% less damage when below 30 HP. It gives you extra HP, and you will take a lot less damage. Mythic Stability is also very, very useful. Um, I usually get it for my build, but it's completely up to you. Narrow Pelicity, I usually get those as well. You also want to get Thresher Claws, so you do more pen for your M1s because you're not going to be able to spam all your Gale mantras. They'll have a cooldown, so M1ing with Thresher Claws will also be very useful. Imperious Slumber, Warrior's Respite, Lose Your Mind and Piercing Will. These are the two most important talents on your build. If you do not have Lose Your Mind or Piercing Will before you Shrine of Order, it is not good. You That's where all your damage comes in for your mantras and for your M1s, because you'll be getting Heteric Sutra, which will allow you to do 15% extra pen when you're more insane, and Lose Your Mind will allow you to do more damage. Returning to the Dark Ages, don't get that. This is the one mantra you want to burn as soon as you see. The one talent you want to burn as soon as you see. If you see this, and if you pick it, get rid of it. If you can't get rid of it, wipe. Um, Bulldozer. You do not need Bulldozer. Silencer's Blade, you do not want that. Blood Iron Spirit for the extra HP, and for your armor to come back, you want that. And this is all you need for the rare talents. Down here for commons, you want to get the Vacuum Punch with Gale Punch, Grand Feast. You want to get Triathlete, so you can always switch that out for something later if you need to get rid of something. Giant Slayer is really important, and you really do need that. You need Impairing Blow. Dancing Guard would be very, very useful. Down tier level is also very, very useful. You can always use down tier level to switch out for a different common if you need a different common. Knuckle Guard, I wouldn't say you need Knuckle Guard unless you're, like I said, trying to switch out your talents. If you are trying to switch out your talents, you need to get a Moon's Eye Tome, unless you farm Etherons religiously and get as much medals as you can and trade them all into knowledge. Underdog, you deal 3% more damage to those with higher HP than you. So the mobs that have higher HP than you, Underdog is very useful. Heavy Hitter, your posture damage is increased by 25%. You need this. This is going to help you block break your mobs like in Hell modes and Diluvians. This is what's really useful. You have to get this talent. Harsh Response, you don't really need it, but I usually go for it on my build. Concussive Force, no. Duelist Stance, like you could technically get it so your posture, if you like to block a lot, you could get this. I usually get it. Robber Baron, we don't need. Charge Return, yes, we do need Charge Return. Tempest Blade, you do not need that. Of course, Gale Breath Unbounded, when you get it, you're going to be able to get all of these, of course. Inhale is very, very useful for this build as well. You need to get Inhale for this build, so your wind mantras will do a ton of more damage. Aftercut will also help you do 5% more mantra damage, as it says right down there, and 10% M1 damage. Breathing Impact allows you to knock the enemies away. So, like, let's say you're low, you use a mantra, boom, they're knocked away. You can win passage and get out of there, right? Fortitude Unbound, so of course we're going to have Unbound Fortitude for this build. You don't need Bulletproof. Bulletproof is not a thing you need. Willpower Unbound, obviously. You don't need Hoplite. Wind Step, okay, so since you're going 0 agility on this build, Wind Step is very, very, very important, as let's say you're trying to go get chests in Ethron, Wind Step is going to help you get up there. If you do not have Wind Step, I tried. It takes you forever to go get those chests. Savior, we don't need Savior. Comeback Kid, you could get Combat Kid, but this isn't PvP, so you're not going to get knocked in PvE, and if you do get knocked in PvE, you're wiped. So, unless you really think you need this, I would say get it. Last resort, get this. If you're below HP, this might be a clutch for you, and you can get your HP back really fast. It's very, very important. You don't need any of the other limit breaker talents. Old habits die hard. Yes, you do need that. Aggressive posture, you don't need this. Anxious guard, you don't need this. Survival kit, you don't really need this as well. Breathing you need all three of the mental fortress talents when you have Hetere Sutra, and you need to get sanity back because it's not going well for you. Conquer your fears is one of the main talents on this build as well, as every time you kill a mob, your sanity comes back a little bit. You can always use Hetere Sutra again to get your sanity back, or have a friend who's with you have Salt Chemist, and they can keep throwing sanity pellets at you. It didn't help. Didn't help. My friend used to do that for me. Shared Misery, I would say get it. I usually get Shared Misery only because let's say you do get into a battle with somebody who's trying to wipe you and you have max sanity, Shared Misery will make them pop. And it's really, really, really useful. It saved me a couple times. Sadly, I did wipe still though. Berserker, Yes, you want 20% damage resistance when you kill a mob. This is very, very useful. Dragon Song, you don't need this. Full reset, after you get a bell, you want to go to Talk to Mystic and click the dialogue that says with 3 dots. It will allow you to get full reset. The heavy haul enemies who carry you move significantly slower, you do not need this. Martyr, enemies gain less health and posture when knocking you. Pack Mule, you do not need this as well. Polite Awakening, I usually get Polite Awakening, but I very rarely get knocked, so the 15% HP recovery it really isn't really a necessity. Ready or Not is also very, very, very useful, as in hell modes you don't really get into combat, so it's not really going to do any damage to you when you're out of combat because you already lose half. Ardor Scream, I don't go Ardor Scream, so you really don't need Ardor Scream. But if you do decide to get Ardor Scream, it will do 50% more posture damage for 10 seconds. You should get that. Armor Conserver, I usually get that as well. Lightweight, you don't need lightweight. Padded armor, you don't need padded armor. Steel Scales, I mean, if you think armor is a necessity for this build, I would say get Steel Scales. I don't go Steel Scales though. And that's about really all the monsters you need, unless you're going Haunted Spectre Path. If you're going Haunted Spectre Path, you want to get Phantom Step and Apparitions as well. You don't need Unfazed. Yes, I forgot about that. Unfazed is a really important talent. If you do not have Unfazed, you will be shivering all the time and you'll get wiped. Trust me, it happened to me before. And all this is all. That's it. Oath, you want Dawnwalker, obviously. You want to get all the talents. You want to make sure you max out Dawnwalker. If you do not max out Dawnwalker, you're not going to do what the build can fully do. Hadaric Sutra, main thing on this build. Make sure you get Hadaric Sutra. Union Hook, obviously. Thresher Skills, Chain of Perfection, Atheron's Gaze, Aerial Assault. This is all basically the stuff you need. Critical Attack, Engage. Right. So now we go on to mantras. The mantras are very, very important for the PvE build. Gale Lunge is one of them. You're not going to really particularly use Gale Lunge unless you're going to use it as an inhale, which you want to put a blue gem on. Then you have Gale Punch, which will do a lot of damage. You want to put a bloodless gem on it though. Tornado here is your main source of damage. You want to make sure you put a bless gem on that and max the shit out as much as you can. Level 5, everything. Twister Kicks, you also want to get. What else would you need on this build? I usually go Astro Wind as well, and that's about it besides Wind Passage for your mobility. For your moves, you want to use Blinding Dawn and you want to use Radiant Dawn, not Radiant Kick. You do not need Radiant Kick for this build. And Reinforce. And these are all the mantras you need for this build. You need to make sure all of this are level 5s. Reinforce you can put as a level 4. Unless you get Reinforced before you Shrine of Order, then you can go up and max it out to level 5. Now for your weapons. For your weapons, you want to go. Where is it? Here we go. Evan Spear, Hand Axe, Bleed. Then for the enchant, you want to make sure you have an Astral enchant, so you can do as much damage as you can with this build. If you cannot go Astral enchant, then the second thing you want to go with is Umbral Knight. Right. For your stars, you do want to go pen or damage. I personally go damage as a 3-starred, so you do as much damage as you possibly can do, as much the range as far as you can go as well. Swing speed is still kind of slow. You will have all these talents that will upgrade your damage modifier: charge, return, lose your mind, last resort, aftercut, wyvern's claw, underdog, reinforce, piercing will, thresher claws, and you don't need bullets. So for your rings, you want to make sure you just go with, willpower, fortitude rings, strength rings, all that you can do. And that's about it for the build. You should be able to wear good armor pieces. For my armor, what I usually have is I have the Drowned Delver's armor piece, the Grand Fishers, that will allow me to block unparryable attacks. So let's say I'm in a Diluvian, trying to solo Diluvian, and a Stone Knight is trying to kick me. I need to act fast. I can't roll, so I can just quickly parry it. It'll take some armor away, but besides that, it's good. I have it drowned at 15 DMV and 33 HP. So you guys figure out what you need. For your boons, I usually go autodidact and pack mule, as pack mule will give you more carry load and you can carry more food unless in case you get vegetarian. Your your flaws, I usually go deficient and obvious as my usual flaws. Vitality 6, always go 6 vitality, and you want to go no proficiency for this build. All your whole build is around your mantras, so you want to go with 6 song chant. Make sure you do that. And this is pretty much the builds. I'm going to go through the talents one more time for you to look. That's your talents, your mantras, your couple mantras you need to use. And then for the weapon, Evan's Hand Axe, Astral. And once again, if you do not have Astral, you want to make sure you go with Umbral Knight. But just, I'm going to show you guys right now, if you did go Umbral Knight, it's not really the best when it comes to DMV. Because DVM, sorry. When it comes to DVM, it does, I believe, 5% to DVM. But if you have the Astral enchant, which will do 25 I don't know why it's not changing, but it would do 20% extra damage versus monsters. Yeah, and that's about it for the build. I'll drop this down in the video, and I'll make a progression video. It'll probably be 2 or 3 parts about how I make the build, and I'll do a whole video of me doing Diluvians, Hell modes. I'll be with my friends, and yeah, that's about it. See you guys.